Good afternoon, everybody. At first, on behalf of Bengal Library Association, I welcome you all in this BLA collaborative webinar, Series 6. And today, it is the first collaboration with Central Library of Ramakrishna Mission Vidyamandir Belur Math. And for this, we are very much grateful of the Vidyamandira, especially with the Vice Principal Sir and also Library College. Now, today's topic is preparation for NIRF ranking. NIRF or National Institutional Ranking Framework. It is quite different, I think, from NAC, and we are working in several colleges, universities, etc. And it is a regular procedure for us for assessing NAC. But at the time of assessing through NIRF, we are very much reluctant. I don't know what is the reason behind it. So, on behalf of association and on behalf of this webinar, we are approaching to all that you should go for NIRF ranking and its evaluation so that we can know the relative or comparative ranking of the colleges or universities or any other educational institutions in the country. And we know that the NIRF was first approved by the Ministry of HRD in 2015, and then the ranking procedure was started, and many colleges, universities, and other institutions are undergone within this procedure. And to discuss this particular feature, we are very much grateful that Swami Shastrajnanandaji Maharaj, of Honorable Principal Sir of Narendrapur Residential College, Ramakrishna Residential College, Narendrapur, has agreed to say something about this ranking framework and other issues. So, welcome you, sir, in this webinar. Another speaker is there. She is Professor Sanghamitra Pal. She is from West Bengal State University, Barasat. She is at present the coordinator of NIRF of WBSU. And after the discussion of Swamiji Maharaj, she will point out some of the issues or problems she has faced while evaluating NIRF. So, let us start first the discussion of Swamiji Maharaj. And about Swamiji Maharaj, it is nothing to say about him. He is a highly respected person from us, and at present he is a monastic member of the Ramakrishna Math and Mission. And not only that, being a principal, it is quite unusual that he regularly takes class on Bengali philosophy and Sanskrit. It is quite unusual to us that. And he is a member of many committees, NAC, CP, and other NIRF for other committees. So we are very much grateful that Sir has agreed to say something about this particular issue. So may I request Swamiji Maharaj to start your discussion. Sir.
Namaskar. I am extremely grateful and thankful to Bengal Library Association and BLA and our Ramakrishna Mission Vidyamandir Central Library. Krishanu is there, who is the librarian, also Joydeep Babu is there, and other distinguished participants, professors, and other distinguished speakers for attending this discussion, this interactive seminar. I am especially thankful to them, especially to Vidyamandir College and also Library as BLA, Library Association, for inviting me to address on the NIRF issues. Although I should point out that at present I am the principal of a college which has secured 20th rank in NIRF ranking framework. However, I understand that I have a legacy with me where I was fortunate to remain attached to a college run by Ramakrishna Mission at Belur, Vidyamandira College, which has ranked this year 7th in college category. In fact, the Vidyamandira College, our Vidyamandira College has performed really well in all three ranking results that have been published by MHRD and IRF in last 3 years. To 2019, it secured 11th rank. In 2018, for the first time it entered and it secured 9th rank. So I was there during all these 3 ranking time. So naturally, everyone expects that I may have known something about this. But I should point out at this point, at this level, that it's not any person for whom this college has been able to secure this rank, but for the entire system, for all the stakeholders. I'm very much grateful to the teachers, my colleagues, to Swamijis who are present there, my that time Vice Principal Maharaj, who is now presently Principal, that time College Office Superintendent, who is now presently Vice Principal, and other Swamijis, very distinguished our lecturers, our teachers, faculty members, and also extremely active, really unparalleled in their performance. All my supporting staff, this non-teaching supporting staff, really, that is something I will always cherish in my memory. And at the same time, my students who performed very well, who are really supportive, the students, the parents, everyone. Because what I have felt, that whenever an institute goes for any performance appraisal, be it a ranking, be it be it an assessment process by NAC or anything, what it needs is nothing but a teamwork. And actually, in Vidyamandira College, when I was there, I found this teamwork was extremely appreciating. And so I had no problem with them. For that reason, I feel that college has been able to secure these 3 consecutive, very appreciating rank in the NIRF, MHRD NIRF ranking framework. Although there was some constraint in the for that particular college, because of that the college is fully, in fact, it is having only the male students, male faculty members. So according to NIRF parameters, there are some issues with that college. First thing, when you asked me to talk on NIRF, I have told in several forums that NIRF ranking is really a little bit different from NAC assessment. Although the parameters NIRF ranking is using will also be useful during NAC assessment time for any type of institution, college or university, whichever it may be. So, but at the same time, I must I must mention that NIRF ranking framework is really something different. Different in the sense that while in NAC there are some qualitative parameters, in NIRF it is exclusively quantitative. Not only quantitative, it is so objective that you will not be able to do anything in some parameters. They will themselves assess and give you score. I will come on those points later. NIRF ranking framework, while doing doing preparation for NIRF ranking, any institute should concentrate mainly on 3 aspects. One, teacher-centric parameters. 2, student-centric parameters. 3. Financial resource utilization. Apart from that, there is one parameter also, that is physical facilities. That is very very negligible, in the sense that the only one question is there, one or two, I think one, two or three questions are there, and the questions which till last year they have put, I think easy, and I think almost all the colleges and universities will score 100% in those parameters. That is physical facilities, PCS as they tell. So these are the three parameters. One is teacher-centric parameters, two is student-centric parameters, and third is financial resource utilization. Now, what is teacher-centric? What are teacher-centric parameters? You see, in NIRF, in teacher-centric parameters, there are some groupings. Main is, one, you have to fill up all the data in relation with your teachers. Teachers, they have been meant that they generally give the definition full-time teachers. Full-time teachers means they want to tell that at least they will be on your payroll. So these are the full-time teachers. You have to give all the details. How who are? In fact, there is a sheet against each teacher's name. An institute has to fill it up. All these data which you will fill up, from that they will prepare their own sheet, and that sheet you will be able to see. From these filling outs, they will find out some objective parameters. One, how many teachers of your institute are having PhDs or degrees more than that, DSc, DLit, DPhil, DLit, etc. Two, how long are they serving in your institute? Three, relating with the number of full-time teachers with the number of students, that you will put in the student sheet, student-centric parameters. They will find out teacher-student ratio, and from these teachers' data, they will find out the research publication data of the teachers of your institute, college or university. For this research publication data, they will not depend on the institution. They will never ask you, please give your research publication data. They will not ask. They will only ask, please write the name of your teachers in the sheet which we are giving. And after getting the name of the teachers, names of the teachers and your institute, they have their own mechanism with the international databases like Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed. And I think up to last year they had with ICI too, but perhaps they, NIRF is doing with ICI also. NAC has delinked ICI. So with these international or national databases, they have some their interactions, their own interactions, and through that mechanism, they will find out your research output. Surely, at one point of time, when they are, after you fill up your after you submit all your data and they start verifying your data, a time will come when they will send you an email, but they will ask you to see the research output which they have calculated through their own mechanisms. So you may ask, how can I tally with that? Especially in the science field and in the social science field also, to some extent, a non-vernacular English language based publications, wherever it is there, these publications may be Scopus Index, maybe Web of Science Index, or maybe PubMed indexed. So if you have your own access to those research databases, you will be able to find out how many research publications you have done or the faculty members of your institution have done in last 3 years. They take publications of last 3 years. They will tell you up to which they have accepted the publication. So from that month, you may calculate last 3 years. So if you have your own access with that institutional access or personal access with the with those databases, you will be able to find out how how many publications you have done and what is your citation index, etc. How many patents are there, etc. You will be able to find out national, international patents. But here is a problem, naturally. Problem is lying with this. In every state, in fact, in every country, in our case, in every state, we have many publications, many good publications, admirable publications we do in our regional language, vernacular, in Indian languages except English, in Bengali, Hindi, Sanskrit, Gujarati, etc., etc. And naturally, these non-English Indian languages, they are not they are not these publications are not indexed anywhere. In fact, I requested ICI and Inflignet to look into this matter, but they have told that they don't have their own mechanism. So I don't know whether in this sector we are being, to some extent at least, deprived or not. But this is surely a point that NIRF authority should look into. However, in this case, none is deprived. For everyone, it is equal. So when you see that it is in Indian languages except English, be sure that those publications will not be accepted in NIRF ranking. So these are the parameters that they build up just based on the data of the faculty members that you have put on the NIRF portal. This will have very important role in giving you some score. Now, second is student-centric data. What is student-centric data? Here, again, while giving you, while you want to put up all your data on the web portal, you have to be very sure, very cautious. They will ask you for last 3 years, what is your intake capacity? What is your actual admission? How many students have passed in minimum stipulated time? How many students have been admitted from the reserve category? How many have been placed at the end of the third year? How many have been able to avail for any progression at the end of the program? How many students are there who are availing scholarships? They will tell free ship. It is nothing but scholarship. Free ship. Free ships or half free tuition in terms of tuition fees by government, by your institute or by any private sector. The students are availing free ships or scholarships. So these data you have to give. And here an institute should be very cautious. Why? Because they will ask at the end when they during the verification time they may ask you student-wise data. You may tell yes, there are among the 1,000 students we have admitted in the session, there were 500 students from reserve category. They may ask you, please give the details of the students. You may claim that there are 500 students at the end of the program who have been placed. They will ask you details, even some proof. So whenever we will give the data, we will fill up the data, we will be very cautious that we should have with us proper, trustworthy documents with us. They may verify, they may ask. So this is a very important student-centric. But another they will ask also surely, I forgot to tell you, that median salary of the students who have been placed or who have got some jobs, maybe in industry, maybe in some education sector, government sector, whatever it may be, no problem. You have to give the median salary. For that also you have to keep your track record, the data. So that's mainly the student-centric data they will ask for you. So first is teacher-centric data, and second is student-centric data. From these student-centric parameters, they will also build up some parameters, parameters for their scoring. Those parameters, the teacher relation with teacher-student ratio, pass percentage, progression, median salary, ESCS, student diversity. Diversity means from which state, from which country, how many students are coming. Women diversity. As I have told, the colleges like Ramakrishna Mission, which only admit traditionally male students, boys, they score 0 in this parameter. So these are the parameters they will build for scoring. From the student-centric data you will supply from your institute, as I have told you earlier, from those student data they will build up these particular scoring parameters. So naturally, one can understand easily that institute should be very cautious regarding while putting the student data. If you fail to put the right data, you will lose. If you somehow put the wrong data, you may be asked some very harsh questions during verification time. So while putting this data, the institute should be very cautious. Third is the financial resource utilization related data. Here, two specific segments have been built up by NIRF. One is capital expenditure, and another, in their language, operational expenditures, that we tell in our accounting procedure recurring or revenue expenditure. In capital expenditure, they will not allow you to include any expenditure we have made for construction of a full building. However, for renovation, repairing and maintenance, you may calculate, you may add your expenditure to recurring part. In capital expenditure, whatever they will ask is in relation with the equipment and books, etc. that they will allow you. So if any college or university or institute does not have the provision or scope or facility to procure equipment every year, books every year, naturally they will lose. I have seen. In fact, in the case of Narendrapur College, in case of Vidyamandira College, it happened. Second is the operational expenditure. Their stress is on operational expenditure, no doubt true. But this operational expenditure, in case of this operational expenditure too, they will ask you detailed expenditure sheet. There are some segments, seminar, etc., salary, etc., and other operational expenditure. From these, capital expenditure and operational expenditure, they will calculate student expenditure per student. So expenditure per student is also very important. In fact, if I don't mistake, in case of college category, perhaps also in the university category too, it gives 40% of the total 100 marks in TLR, teaching, learning and resource utilization parameter, 40%. So resource utilization also, we should be very cautious. It depends. One thing is very clear, that it depends on the per student expenditure. So if I have 5,000 students, my expenditure should go proportionately increasing, and naturally if my student, if the number of students is less, 1,000 or 2,000 or less than 1,000, proportionately my expenditure may come down. But here, my experience has shown that colleges like ours, that is Vidyamandira, Narendrapur, Rahara, and even colleges like some other institute of Delhi, they are showing very good results, very good performance. As past student expenditure in these colleges are very high, in case of college categories. In case of university categories, also have seen some highly reputed institutes like ISCs, IITs, JNU, Jadavpur, Calcutta. They are in their case also. It is very good, their performance. So this is the third segment of parameters that they insist on. So you see, these are the main segments in NIRF ranking framework. Apart from, I know, as I have told, one is PCS, physical, all these capacity building, that is how many lift or ramp or rail is there, and this physically disabled toilets, etc., etc. As I have told you earlier, I think in many colleges or universities, to some extent, these are more than 80%. Another parameter is there, which is called perception. Till date, it is really debatable. I also don't know how this perception parameter is coming up. I have not asked them, but I think they can give. I will request them. I have thought that at least some outline how this scoring based on perception is being done. However, what I have seen that from perception 100 marks, they finally take only 10%. So when they score the final 100, 90 they score from all other objective parameters, 10 only they score from this perception. This surely creates variation in ranking, but at the same time, um, within first 25 or within first 50, this only create variation, not beyond that. Now, one thing I want to mention, just sharing my experience, that institute, while performing good in ranking framework, good I think at least they should come within first 25. That is good ranking. In my judgment, I'm not telling it anything, something national or governmental judgment. This is my judgment. If we come within 25, especially in case of colleges, engineering colleges or universities, I think it is more or less good in relation with the national scenario. So when if an institute wants to rank within this first 25, first thing it requires to do is just seeing the parameters, they can understand in which sector they are lagging behind compared to other colleges, other institutes, other universities. This is one. It is not bad if seeing some parameters, yes, I am lagging behind, I will try to perform better. It's not so that competition is always good, but at the same time, to some extent, competition also shows me that yes, compared to other, I am a little behind. I can do a little better. So this performing better, every time trying to perform better, this can be an objective while running our institutes. This is one. Second, what I feel that in some cases there are good institutes, good colleges, good universities, but their data collection is not good. Data arrangement is not right. They failed to collect all the data of all the passed out students of last 3 years. That how many students have gone for progression, how many students have gone for placement. They don't have, sometimes they have told me that they don't have this data. I think in college we can create a mechanism. Yes, for a college which is having 2,000, 3,000 or universities, 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 students are passing every year. A single administration, central administration will not be able to collect all the data, but the department can collect. Because it may be so that there are 4,000 students in an institute which is having 12 or 14 or 20 departments or more than that. So for each department number comes very little, 50 or 100 or even 200. So if we can create a sheet, and after the students pass out, when they come to the college for certificates or result, we can collect the data. Or even in today's scenario where WhatsApp and other social media is so powerful, we can use that and we can collect that. This is a process that can go year long. Students have passed, say this year. This is a new abnormal year. But in other years, in previous years, you have seen they have passed their final exam in the month of June or July. So from July, if we start up to October, we will get time. And if in the department we just divide our duty, 20, 20, 30, 30 students we divide, or even 50 students, slowly we can contact with them through WhatsApp, through Facebook, etc. And we can have their data. So this is, I think, one thing that we can put more attention to. Second is in case of resource utilization. You see, the resource utilization is also very important. The data of research. I have seen in some institutes, they have spent money on some aspect, but they have forgot to collect that, to add that expenditure to the recurring expenditure or to the capital one, or to the capital, whatever it may be. They have forgot. Or they have miscalculated. So what I want to say, that once the financial year is over, we know what NIRF 1, what are the parameters in relation with financial matters in our NIRF ranking procedure. We have become very much known to that. So we can start collecting the data and verify by ourselves, so that not a single rupee goes outside, because it's a fractional issue that may take you in the rank of 10th or 9th or 20th, etc. This is very important, you see. I have experience with now 2 colleges. You can easily understand, at Vidyamandira, which has done fairly well in 7th, in 9th, 11th, and 7th ranking. And now I am at Narendrapur. I have seen their data, how they are collated. And I have understood that where the mistakes or where the shortcomings are there. So you see, I think this is the way of preparation an institute can do year long. At the same time, I want to mention what I have felt, that you see, ranking or having secured the rank 7th or 5th or 50 or 100, it can't be the be all or end all in relation with the objective of a higher education institute. No, never. But what an institute collectively should remember, that they must have a well-documented, perfectly maintained data of its own. 1, 2. They will always try to perform better in each sector of the higher education scenario. And if these 2 things become the sole objective of a higher education institute, performing better every day, every month, every year, performing better in all the segments, in all the sectors of higher education, 1, and 2, trying to perfectly maintain all the data, all the documents of my own institute, if these two things are being done by an institute, be it an assessment, be it a ranking, it will surely perform well. Further, from the reverse side, the ranking and the assessment procedure help me to perform better in all the sectors of higher education system, and also it reminds me that an institute should collectively try to maintain its document as perfect as possible. When someone asked me, why have you entered in this ranking procedure? Do you feel that it is only something that an institute should achieve? I don't know. I've never thought of this. But what I feel, that these things, these systems, these arrangements of higher education system of India have enabled me to find out where I am doing better, where I should do better, where I am lagging behind. So you see, this is something external peer review. Internal peer review is important, that should have there, but if there is an external peer review system, then naturally internal peer review system does also get enriched. For that reason only, I think till I will be here within the periphery of this higher education system, I will always try to take part in NIRF. I understand there are many shortcomings in the system. I know there are some aspects where the policymakers of NIRF should look into. But at the same time, I have seen that this NIRF or NBA or NAC, they have helped me in the improvement procedure, in the progression avenue of my higher education institute. Thank you. Thank you for giving me chance, sharing my experience with you. If you have any question, you may ask. Namaskar.
Thank you, Shamiji Maharaj. Now, after your presentation, there is a discussion by Professor Sanghamitra Pal. Are you waiting or just leaving? If you are waiting, then we are asking for questions.
Whatever you will tell.
How many, maximum 15 minutes. Am I audible to you, sir?
Hello?
Am I audible? Am I audible to you?
Yes, I am audible. You are audible. Yes, you are audible. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right. If there are any questions, if you can ask me, all right, I am there. I'm here to answer to you.
Then my request is that please wait for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay.
All right.
In the next stage. Actually, you are pointing out so many important issues. But when you are working in a non-government college like us or many other colleges, there are so many problems. You just feel or you can remember it, understand it. And when you go to NIRF ranking scenario, first 100 colleges in the country, there are 7 colleges in West Bengal. 3 from your Ramakrishna Mission colleges, one from St. Xavier's, and 3 from Lady Brevon, Bethune, and I think Loreto. More or less missionaries and government colleges. The administration is quite different from us. From your colleges and other colleges, the principal will say the last word actually, but other colleges, we are too much, we are living in too much democratic world. Everything plays their important role. That's the problem, I think. And another thing is that we are following a poor database. More or less every colleges. Uh, Suppose, for example, particular student has 3 or more entries in our student database. Number one example. Another one is that library database. I have gone through many libraries, is not at par. That's the problem actually. So, and another thing is that we are starting our ranking or assessment procedure at the 4th year of NAC assessment. But it should not be done. It should be a continuous procedure, I think. So that's the problem of our mindset, our actually. So I think Professor Sanghamitra Pal will point out so many issues in working with NIRF in WBSU. So may I request Professor Sanghamitra Pal?
Yeah.
Maharaj, you are in backstage, okay?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody.
Just a minute, madam. Professor Sanghamitra Pal is at present the professor of Department of Statistics of WBSU, West Bengal State University, Barasat, and she is the coordinator for NIRF, and she will point out some practical issues. And I think Professor Shamiji Maharaj may answer these things. Please start.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to express my thanks to Bengal Library Association, the organizing committee, and the Central Library of Ramakrishna Mission Vidyamandira, Belur Mott, and for giving me opportunity to take part in today's discussion on NIRF. So NIRF is a vital issue. I also express my respect to Maharaj. Maharaj came to our university last year. We were preparing for NAC, and we submitted our file for NAC. And now NIRF we are continuing for the last 3 years from 2017. But this our university, West Bengal State University, is a new university. It was established in 2008, and we started our journey in a just government college premises in 2008. Later, after 1 year, we have shifted in our new campus, as Barasat campus, West Bengal State University new campus. And for this shifting, I have observed a lot of crisis. A new university, but to run this university, we cannot think any just students, benches, their chairs, tables, nothing was there. For this development, we spent a lot of time. So for this data preparation was not at all possible for us for this new university. And obviously this is a financial grant is a problem. This is a public state university. Obviously what we are thinking, we cannot apply or cannot do. Okay, due to financial problem and like that. So for this, just what I have faced when I am preparing the parameters and like that I am pointing out. First is teaching, learning, and resources. Teaching, learning, and resources. In 2008, some faculties joined. We joined some faculty, 85, most probably 82 or 85 faculties we joined. And after 3-4 years, some of our faculties left. Okay, in some another university, another institution, like that. And obviously, so faculty student ratio, they are a problem already started that time. And as it is a state public university, obviously recruitment depends on the government policy and like that. We can't fill this problem, couldn't fill these positions. And obviously, there is a drop in faculty student ratio. Usually the ratio should be 1:15, and obviously as they left some faculties, obviously this there is a crisis. And next point is another metric is the faculty with PhD and experience. In last year, some of our new faculties joined as assistant professor. So obviously, as an assistant professor, they do not have teaching experience. So in the experience criteria, as a new university, we are losing our point. If assistant professor with a fewer number of services they can join, and obviously in the total service experience parameter we are losing points. And in that case we some guest faculties are there. When some faculties left our university, obviously the departments they are taken some guest faculties, and these guest faculties they are very renowned and very good like that, but they are not in our payroll. So obviously their data is, we cannot put their data on the NIRF. When we are filling up the NIRF file, then we are not putting our data. So obviously there is a crisis on that issue also. So another point is the financial resources and their utilization. As it is a new university, obviously several constructions, we last 3-4 years, we had several constructions. But that construction, that data, utilize new building construction or any library construction, that we cannot show. We need another some data, financial resources, but that is very difficult to show this, to utilize that all the data, and grant is a problem, money is a problem. So obviously there is a problem. Our lab, basically science lab and the other labs, we need development, but due to money and we couldn't develop so much. And we applied for the NAC also, and obviously after NAC the scenario most probably will be improved. In that case we may try to provide more data on like that. Okay. And next, research and professional practice, and 30% to which the data is gathered by third-party source, we know, and it is Scopus, Web of Science, like that. Scopus and Web of Science is 35, it is to 45, like that, and IPR and patent, and in that category the project, this also they are there. And total citation is also, quality is considered, and the quantity of the publication is also considered. When some new faculties are joining from the previous institution, last year some joined, we obviously in their research publication, previous institute's affiliation was there, but NIRF search data by affiliation, that is by West Bengal State University or any university where we are here. So in their data, when they are searching, they are not, some new faculties, very good faculties with publication, some faculties are there, but we are losing the data on that publication parameter also, as the total thing is gathered by third-party source. So in that point, I think NIRF can think like that, by a name or like that. The teachers are good, they are teaching here, they are teaching students like that, but we cannot show their publication. We cannot show means they are the third-party source, they are not getting their publication data. Okay. So obviously the new university and the 100 years old university, I don't know, under the same umbrella, how can we compete with together? So this is the problem. And here patent also same thing, the research patent same thing, it's a new university, so obviously these data we do not have so much. Then graduation outcome. A graduation outcome, placement, department-wise placement, obviously all things, the data should be collected. Maharaj pointed out, the administration can't gather the data. The department-wise collection of data, the placement and the higher education, this data should be collected. I will think of that. I will ask the departments to provide data from the next year, and we have to provide the median salary. So median salary, when in my university I saw there is no such that alumni association or Facebook like that, nothing is there. Just we have started alumni association like that, but through this association, we can gather data with the students who just after passing, they are not joining. After 2-3 years, they are joining some reputed university or institutes, but we had no information of that when students are salary or like that. So obviously we have to think, and placement cell also, we have the last year, NIRF asked one Excel, she sent us on one Excel sheet to fill up the data. Excel sheet, we have to put the campus recruitment, all the date wise. So how can I get there? We do not have any placement cell. As a new university, we are thinking, and a placement officer should be there, and like that. I do not know that Excel sheet was not possible. Actually, we need to give the genuine data. Obviously, we can't put any arbitrary data like that, and median salary obviously is calculated over that. What I have gathered from the students are like that. I have given that. I had given, but department-wise collection is a good way. An alumni association, Facebook, WhatsApp group should be created department-wise so that we can gather data more that on that. This is the research and professional practice and graduation outcome. Already I have told. Then next, outreach and inclusivity. Under this, our point is not place. Okay, students from other states and socially challenged students also included here, and physically challenged students, women category, the students, they have more women students, there are more points. So 50%, they expect 50% women student and 20% women faculty, and 2 women in higher administrative positions such as dean, at the top of the administration like that. And here also women students in our university, though we have the 50% women students almost, and faculty is also 20% we have. So under this category, and socially challenged, as it is outskirts, Barashat, so from Bonga, Habra, from different North Chobbish Pargana students are coming. So here we have socially challenged students under this umbrella. Our score is not so bad. Next, here economically and socially challenged also, expectation, we are meeting the expectation our, and physically challenged, proper facility should be provided for physically challenged students and others. So here also it is a problem, financial problem. The full facility, it is very difficult. Just we have started that physically providing facility like that, but last 3-4 years it was very difficult to get score on this. I started applying last 3 years only. So it was the first year I faced a lot of problem. Now, all things were zero. No, nothing is there. So what can I do? So we have to see these things physically challenged. As a university, obviously financial problem, and the administration also, the administration is strong, but still on these parameters, there are so many problems are there in the university. Everywhere problem, lab problem, library problem, everywhere it is problem. So focusing on these issues, it is very difficult. So I feel that, and the perception is done through obviously the employer and the good academicians. I heard data is gathered, and obviously our students are going in reputed companies. I know some of our department from some departments, they are joining in reputed universities in the higher studies also. But in perception, it will take time to actually, people do not know the name of this new university. Though so many colleges are 52 colleges, they are under this West Bengal State University, but it will take time to raise perception for this university. We are trying our best, and that's all. So thank you. These are the problems I have faced, and the question wise I may answer.
Thank you, madam. So, Swamiji Maharaj, if you can answer anything.
Yes.
About this.
Very good points. Professor Pal Shangamitra has raised. In fact, first is really, I also think that in case of new universities, it is a little difficult. Undoubtedly, it is difficult if they don't have the regular flow of funding, and if there are some loopholes, gap areas in collection of data. So naturally, for the new universities, for the new colleges, new institutes, it will be difficult to come out with a fairly good ranking in the NIRF ranking procedure. It is
So,
100%.
Samji, I think the year of establishment of the university or institute or college should be a metric of the parameter.
That's a good suggestion, madam. But what I have seen that all the international rankings also, they have never counted the date of
No,
establishment.
that's why just I joking.
In fact, they will quote in in fact, one of our very important or very reputed academician who was, I think, still is associated with NIRF ranking. Earlier, he was associated. When I told this point to him some years ago, he told me, he mentioned that Swamiji, you see that Singapore, two universities of Singapore, that is Nanyang and the National University, they are not very old, like Oxford or Cambridge or Harvard or Princeton, but they are now competing with them, and they are doing very good. They are showing very good performance, either in TQS or in Times or in Shanghai ranking. They are showing very good performance. So naturally, I don't think this year of establishment they will ever count as a parameter. But I understand that if the flow of funding and if the collection of data, mechanism of collection of data is not smooth, seamless, then really it will be a problem for higher education institute, universities or colleges. But in this case, what I have already told, I humbly request to all of you. In fact, when I started working with this NIRF, I think Krishanu is here listening to me at least from my earlier college, Vidyamandira. When I started doing this NIRF ranking, about this preparation for NIRF ranking framework, that was the year 2016. I very thoroughly read the entire paper. I tried to find out how they are ranking with all the previous year scores, with all the arithmetic calculation or statistical calculation, and I prepared myself collecting data, in presenting the data, and also in improvement. You will see that there was once it happened that our regional diversity we got 0 in the first year. I understood that here our college, Vidyamandira College, can improve. So what I did from that year, the year in 2018, we scored 0. I knew that it will not be possible for me to score very high marks in regional diversity. And I knew I will always score 0 in women diversity. So given the situation, what I did, I tried to improve in the regional diversity sector. So I sent letters to our branch centers, to different institutes outside our state and outside of West Bengal, and also to some parts of Bangladesh. And it resulted in this year, we have scored fairly well. At least we have been able to accumulate some score in regional diversity. Because now, when in the 2018, only there were 2 students or 1 student, I think, who was outside our state. But now in 2020 in Vidyamandira College, when we did this ranking work, we had almost, I think, 28 or 29 students. So this is a plan. This I understood that this is a sector where I'm lagging behind. So I started preparing myself and took a strategy. And I think if this strategy, this Vidyamandira College follows, then they will be able to get more students from outside the state in coming years also. So this is the way I am telling. You see, it's undoubtedly true. There are constraints, there are problems, there are issues. Fund flow is also another problem for us, because in fact this year also this funny thing happened. They were verifying our data, and when you come within 20, they will ask you several questions. They will disturb you, asking very harsh questions over phone, over email. So one day they called me and told, you see, you have given a large amount for procuring equipment in 2018-19, but in 2019-20 there is no significant amount you have spent for the equipment. How is it? What the fact is? What is the what the truth lies in the previous year of in this current year? Like they asked the questions. I told them, you see, a college like ours naturally doesn't have very good fund flow. So whenever we had fund, we received very good funding from state government or from other agencies. We are able to procure equipment, more books. But when we are getting less, we are doing it less. What can I do? So this is the fact we have told them. So you see, this is an issue for our college also. But what I have seen, what you have rightly mentioned, Professor Pal, that this documentation, this is really a great factor. Because when I am at Narendrapur College now, I find that there are some aspects where Narendrapur College could have performed better even in this year. I have found out they have not been able to calculate, they have not been able to collect all their data. I told them next year I will do, don't worry, I will try. So they naturally they are a little scared because Vidyamandira, St. Xavier's, Raha are doing well. Why we are going to 20th? Last year we were in 15th. So I told them, you see, these are the sectors, aspects where Narendrapur College could have performed better. So you see, and then that is nothing but the documentation. So surely what you have told, that fund flow is a factor, newly established college or university is a factor, but at the same time, if we give more importance in the systematic collection and collation of data, at least to some extent we will be able to perform better. One. Second, seeing the all the gap areas, if we try to address those, and in fact what happened, I can just tell you that in 2017-18 we had very good fund flow from different agencies, but 2018-19 we didn't have very good fund flow. So in 2019-20, I told higher education department that you have to give me fund, otherwise I will not be able to perform better in NIRF. Like that, I started bargaining, and at least they gave some funding to me. So you see, this type of, in fact, Krishna is there. If there are some other people who know me in that college, I did all these things in this way because I know if funding comes, the development will occur in the college. Students will get benefited. It's not the case of ranking, whether I will get better ranking or not. That's not the point. That is a byproduct. But the main is our students will get more benefited. Our institute will get developed. So you see, this is, I think, these two factors, as I've told earlier, given all the constraints, no doubt, I always tell that yes, constraints are there. But Professor Pal has told, our Vishwajit Babu has told, exactly right. I don't differ. But at the same time, we can do best within all these constraints, within all these limitations. Everyone is trying. So more we will try, more we will perform better. That's my expectation. This I follow in my institute. I will follow in Narendrapur too. This I will follow in case of Narendrapur too. So this is only the way I think, because we will not be able to change the entire situation. If funding does not come, how can I get funding? But even in case of universities or other institutes, not colleges, there are some scopes because this project funding from DST, from SARP, from DBT,
that is there.
from other institute, universities get more funding. We colleges don't get. If our teachers apply and if your teachers apply, surely your teachers will be given a little more preference. So this is a scope where university teachers can apply for different national and international level of project funding, because all this project funding will be added to NIRF financial utilization. It's not that it is individual funding, it's institute funding. So it will be added. If a faculty member has received 50 lakhs from any source as research project funding, it will be added. And that will create a student, the expenditure per student, it will increase.
More.
So naturally, what I see that in case of universities, fund flow can be enhanced if teachers, they try to get fund from governmental agencies, non-governmental agencies, international agencies as more as possible. I think you are trying, but this can be a source. But in colleges, really, this is a cost. Really, there is a problem because these funding agencies do not care. These colleges, they told, oh, these are colleges, we don't give them funding. If you are universities, we will give you funding. Like that they tell. I have seen in many cases. But in case of colleges also, other documentation, student related documentation, teacher related documentation can be made in a better way. And if you tell that the publication in case of colleges, what I have told in Vidyamandira College, many of my teachers, many of my faculty members, that even if you yourself are not able to publish because of the paucity of the fund or because of the lab infrastructure, which a college sometimes may not be able to afford you, although you have, create a collaboration with your faculty members, with your seniors, with your supervisors, PhD supervisors, or your peers who are there in different college, universities, different institutes, reputed institutes, and have a collaboration and go there at least once a week or after your college hours, and then you will be able to publish some. There will be some joint publications. So naturally, there also the college will be benefited. Knowledge benefit will be there at most. And after that, after this knowledge benefit, knowledge gain, this updating knowledge, naturally this will result in the ranking procedure. So in fact, I think these are the aspects where we can put some more effort. This is my humble prayer to all of you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Maharaj. There are 3 or 4 questions just. I just highlight it in the screen. Please follow the screen.
In last NIRF format, question is in last NIRF format, there are no scope of data entry of running projects. Then what to write the project data? In case of universities, I think this project data means here, if the funding is there, college or universities, that you will be able to add. It's not the project data entire. You
Not
have
details.
not detail. Only the funding what you have received, and not the funding you have received, but the expenditure you have made out of the funding in that financial year, that should be there with your accounts department or your individual department. And while calculating the final resource utilization in NIRF module, you have to add that project funding, the project expenditure that you have made out of project funding. It was there in NIRF data, but there was no need of, NIRF does not require any detailed project report or any other project data entry. Next. Whether number of running research has been, no, number of running research project does not have any value in NIRF. That is, there is the value is there with our NAC. If the college is having any professional course like DMLT, is there any advantage? Advantage is there surely, as you are spending money on that professional course. Naturally, that will be added here in your financial utilization. This certificate course like things will be added. Number of certificates course like things will be added in NAC only, in the NAC assessment, not in NIRF.
Not even.
Anything? Is keeping the job acceptance letter copy sufficient for student track record? Can we ask students for a pay certificate? Yes. Along with this job acceptance letter, it is required to have at least the first pay certificate if there is no mention of the emoluments, the salary in the job certificate. Then pay certificate is required. Next, please. Sir, what are the parameters for library in IRF? What are the documentation required to be prepared? For library, it was required that there should be a regular expenditure on books
Only
and
expenditure.
books and journals. This is mainly required, but you need to keep prepared the detailed list of the books and the journals you have procured in the last year. If your expenditure is significantly more, then they may ask you the list of books and journals. For us in Vidyamandira college, in the first year, they asked this data, but from the next 2 years, they didn't ask. Next question, please. What kind of award of teachers and students NIRF consider? You see, NIRF earlier they didn't have this award parameter. Last year we have seen they have told only the international award for the teachers and students.
Central government award is there, like Bhatna Award.
Yes, thank you, madam. National and international. No state award. No state
No
award.
state award.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are about to end of the program. Before we end, there is a formal vote of thanks by Krishanu of Ramakrishna Mission Vidyamandir. And before we end, there is two announcement of forthcoming webinars. On next Saturday at 4 p.m., we are organizing a webinar on very important topic in Bengali. The title is Mukto Chinta Bahuttobad, and the speaker will be Professor Povitro Sarkar. পবিত্র সরকার বলবেন মুক্ত চিন্তা ও বহুত্ববাদের উপরে আগামী শনিবার 4টের সময় আপনারা অবশ্যই থাকবেন and next Sunday at 6 p.m. we have a doctors meet in Bengali. The title will be the staying with corona. So মানে আমাদের যেটা হয়েছে যে এখন করোনাকে নিয়ে থাকতে হবে, কোভিড কে নিয়ে থাকতে হবে. So we have a doctors meet according to the requirement of our members and followers. So we are going to organize a doctors meet at 6 p.m. on next Saturday, next Sunday. So please follow us. Now formal vote of thanks by Krishanu. Krishanu, you may start now.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, please start.
Yes, a very good afternoon to all the participants and resource person. It gives me immense pleasure to be a part of this webinar. Today we heard revered Swamiji Maharaj on preparation for NIRF evaluation. He has aptly discussed all the nitty-gritty required for achieving better NIRF ranking. On addition, we have listened to Professor Pal Madam. Madam has discussed the practical experiences related to the NIRF evaluation process. On behalf of Central Library Ramakrishna Mission Vidyamandira, I take the honor to thank both the resource persons for their invaluable lectures. I cordially thank Bengal Library Association for organizing such an informative session. And last but not the least, I acknowledge the
I think he is out of the screen. So on behalf of Bengal Library Association and Central Library Vidyamandira, Belur Mott, I express our sincere regards to both the speakers, Swamiji Maharaj and Professor Sanghamitra Pal, and also to the participants participating from all around the country, and also there are so many participants from Bangladesh. So we are very much grateful to all of you. Krishan, we can say anything, just a line only. Please conclude. Krishan, you may start
yes,
now.
actually there is some network problem here. So I would like to thank again all the respected participants for their encouraging presence. And that's it. Thank you all for your coordination and cooperation. Thanks.
Thank you all, and namaskar and goodbye now. Namaskar.